Test, test, test. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Let me know how we sounding. Let me know how we sounding. We got two nice setups yesterday. The final TB got hit on gold last night, right at the beginning of Tokyo session. We're gonna be looking for continued sales and continued GJ buys. Again, there is no news today as far as USD pairs goes. We do got Canadian news at 8:30, and then later on tonight we do got New Zealand news at 10 and 11 p.m. We're going to be picking up where we left off. We're going to be looking for continued GJ and gold setups. Going to see if NASDAQ US30 going to wake up for us as well, because they did hit the levels we was talking about yesterday, but as you can see, it failed to hold that support. They rejected, and it's just been kind of consolidating choppy. But again, it was a Monday, and there also was no news, so not too much of a shock or surprise that US30 and NASDAQ didn't really do too much yesterday. Same thing with US30 yesterday. Consolidated here for a little bit at the beginning of the New York session, but just kept on rejecting, which is also why, again, I don't really like the breakout trade. I like to wait for the retest confirmation. So we're going to be looking for continued gold sales, and we're going to be looking for GJ buys. Now, what I would have liked to see them have done was maintain these levels. Like when gold hit that final TP last night, I would have liked to see that held this as resistance, but it did not do so. So we still got a little bit of work to do. We're still kind of choppy right here, right? Again, if y'all was in the live, the beginning of the live yesterday, or you watched the Sunday chart analysis, gold was looking like a full green candlestick, right? And we rolled that wick down. Now we wanted to see it hold 33, 34 as resistance, which we see last night. Price failed to do so. So we're going to see if we can push back down below there. And the game plan is just like yesterday. There is no high impact news, so we're simply just going to wait for volume and our confirmations to be met. But we're going to be looking for similar setups on GJ. Again, we're going to be looking for either price to break above and hold 199.70 as support, then look for buys come back up to 220, which is the exact setup I was talking about yesterday. Again, if y'all watching yesterday's live, remember the beginning of the London session, what did GJ end up doing? What GJ did the London session open, ended up rejecting this level. But if y'all was in the live stream yesterday, what did we still say? We said, what? We're still going to be looking for buys because what? We're in an uptrend. And then look what price did later on. Push it upside. So what would have happened if people went for sales here instead of fall the flow price went for buys? You would have fell for the fake out liquidity sweep. You get what I'm saying? Same thing with gold. All right, gold pushed up all last night. Well, not last night, but Sunday night. But we still went for sales yesterday because what? Because with the flow of price. So we're really looking for GJ to hold this level or to retrace and retest this level right here. Make sure to like the live. Y'all hop up in here. Y'all subscribe. You're not subscribed already. We just hit 3,800 subscribers. Let's get to 3,900. I could tell I just got out of bed. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday as well. I'm about to drop that link in the chat. Make sure to check that out after the live is over. But you already know the drill. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at charts, drop them in the chat. Or we're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. Those just joining this stream, we have not into this trade yet. It's just a trade idea. We have not into this trade yet. We're no longer in this gold setup, but if y'all see yesterday's live, I remember we entered this setup. We barely missed TP1. Then we got sucked back into drawdown. But again, once that volume kicked in, the thing pushed to the downside. Same thing with GJ. All right, and I showed this in the TikTok live. Again, make sure to follow me on. Make sure to be subscribed on here, but also make sure to follow me on TikTok. We go live at least 3 times a week during New York session on TikTok. And y'all don't want to miss those TikTok lives. The TikTok lives are different from the London session lives. Just like I tell the people that be watching me or find me on the TikTok lives are not the same as the London session lives. Right, but if we go into the Venezuela student room, you can see we walk these two setups down. Not only called the most signal, but I broke down both the GJ setups and the gold setups in the live as well with the members yesterday. I took both personally, but as far as signals, only called the gold signal, but I can show you that as well. So again, this is an old signal, y'all. Nobody take this setup. This is an old signal. The trade already played out. All right. So I already said it twice, so I don't want nobody in my DMs after the live. They took a signal I showed. This is an old signal. Just showing you this so y'all can see what took place. Go ahead and pull it up. So yeah, if y'all was in yesterday's live, was talking about gold sales and DJ buys. Was also talking about US30, but obviously US30 NAS did not meet our confirmations, which is why we didn't go for US30 or NAS. We went for gold and GJ. GJ almost did a nice 1 to 2 RR, but gold we caught a nice 1 to 2, almost 1 to 3 RR. I mean, whatever you would have risked would have made almost 3 times that amount. So you would have risked $100, you would have made almost $300. You would have risked $1,000, you would have made almost you would have made almost $3,000. Right, and then you can see the signal right here. So we're in advancement signal. Again, use discount code It's My Time for 20% off. But you can see we literally entered this towards the end of the live. Like after I entered the trade, that's when I ended the live. Because we waited for about an hour for the setup and our confirmations we met. Again, you can see the time entered at 4:16 a.m. You can see the entered SL. You can see the TPs. And you can see here, an hour later, I let the members know. I said gold barely missed TP1 and was ranging on the zone. GJ broke back above the zone. Let's see if it goes support. And then again, remember if y'all was in the TikTok live, not the TikTok, the session live yesterday. This was the London session opening candle. I remember what I said in the live stream. You don't remember, just watch it. I said we're still looking for buys. Even though price didn't meet our confirmations, we're still looking for buys. And then what did price do an hour later? Broke back above that level. And again, you can clearly see right here at 5:23 a.m. I said we broke back above the level. Let's see if we can hold as support. You can also see a screenshot of the gold signal when I said we barely missed TP1 and we're ranging on the zone. So this is what it was looking like. So we was in drawdown for a couple hours, right? You can see right here, the TPs didn't really start to get hit until New York, right? 9:04 a.m. That's when TP2 got hit. You can see right here, BJ ended up flying, right? And then you can see after that, New York opened 9:36. That's when the TPs just started getting hit and smacked. You can see I dropped the New York price watch list, letting them know what was going on with gold, all that good stuff. Then you see the final TP got hit last night. So yeah, we really do this stuff over here, y'all. Again, make sure to click that link in the description to get access to the signals, or if you want to learn my exact trading strategy so you're going to trade on your own. Y'all know what to do. Click those links in the description. So we're going to see if GJ can push back above here. We can look for another buy setup because again, we are bullish. But if y'all was here trading or just here at all last month, y'all know that all of July, the first week, was stuck right here. Right, turn this resistance level to support. I talked about this in the trade breakdown I dropped yesterday. So make sure to check out trade breakdown dropped yesterday, y'all. Got new videos lined up for y'all all week on here as well as Instagram and TikTok. So make sure you guys know these on be on the lookout for that. But then we can saw last week we retested this level, and you see price was holding this as support. But now we just need to hold and maintain this level as support, so we can see a new higher high getting there. That's what we're really looking at. Now, again, we don't got any news today as far as USD pairs or GBP pairs are concerned. Only news events we got popping off today, like we talked about in the Sunday chart analysis, is 8:30 Canadian news. Then later on tonight, when markets reopen, we got 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. New Zealand news. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at your charts, drop them in the chat. But we're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. Who's been making passive income for the past couple of months? If y'all have not been making passive income for the past couple of months, you must have just found me yesterday, because again, make sure to check out the crypto altcoin analysis as well as the stock analysis playlist. I dropped a video for y'all, multiple videos going over coins on the blockchain that you can stake and get high returns on your investment on a weekly basis. And I've also dropped a video going over ETFs that are a lot cheaper than the main popular ones. Instead of paying 60, $100 to receive $60 a quarter, I mean, not 60 bucks, 60 cents, 40 cents a quarter, there are ETFs that are 20 bucks and less that will pay you that same amount, if not more, per month and per quarter. And in fact, I dropped a video, I'm about to find it really quick, where instead of waiting every 3 months for a payout on your dividends, they pay out on a monthly basis. And then one of the stocks, or one of the ETFs I talked about in that video, will pay you out on a weekly basis. And literally, I've been getting payouts as well as others for the past few months since I dropped that video. So let me find that really quick. Again, I dropped stock and crypto analysis updates for y'all last week. Got some new ones dropping for y'all later on this week as well. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. Let me drop that in the chat right here. So definitely make sure to watch that video after the live because it's literally free bread, y'all, especially because that stuff's on discount right now. US30 just popped up. So again, we're looking for GJ buys. We're looking for GJ to break above and hold 199.75 as support. And we look for the same buy set that we took yesterday, as well as the same buy set that we took on Thursday, as well as the same buy set that we broke down on Wednesday last week. Right? If we can hold that lower support, we're gonna look for buys going to 220, or we're gonna look to see if price is gonna retest 199.15, and then we're gonna look for buys going from there. We're just looking for some volume. Again, it's Tuesday. You can see price has been really struggling to turn this resistance low into support. We got FOMC tomorrow, and we got GBP news tomorrow. So we might actually see action on that news event. It's a little bit of a weirder week. Let's see how next week looks. Next week there's not that much news either. So we're wrapping up the month. Interesting. But we'll deal with that when we deal with that. Yeah, right now only like GJ. I got my alerts from gold and the indices, but as far as setups right now, I'm only liking GJ, but none of them are at my levels right now, so we're still waiting either way. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at the charts, drop them in the chat. You just placed a trade. I mean, you want to talk about it? I don't know what you placed a trade in. You want to talk about it? We can talk about it. I'm not in anything yet though. But yeah, if you want to look at what you took, say what chart it was, SLTP, we can take a look at it. But I'm not in anything yet. Any more pairs on trading? As of right now, I'm just looking at these three. Now I might change. I might put up NAS100 and look closer at US30 and gold going into New York session. But again, like I was talking about before, we had no news yesterday. We got any USD news today. And when we look at US30 and NAS, they failed to just range at that level all day yesterday. You can still see that as super choppy and low volume. So we're going to see if New York, because even the New York Open candlestick didn't really do too much yesterday. Like when we go look at the New York Open candle, right, it wicked up, but still failed to hold that support. Same thing with NAS100. Gold was a little choppy in the beginning as well, but when that 9 a.m., 8:30 volume came in, pushed to the downside. But you can see even right here, 9:30 after 9:30, kind of was a little bit choppy here. Like y'all was in the TikTok live, was choppy all that entire time we was live. But then when Tokyo session popped off last night, we can see price whip down and hit that final TP. But you can see price is still kind of choppy and ranging right now. So we are still looking for sales, but again, I'm not going to stare at gold or US30 when I can clearly see. And this is what we was talking about the TikTok live. Once you understand the rules of price and the market conditions and market behavior, it become a lot easier, right? Because I don't got to stare at US30 or gold and quote unquote watch paint dry and drive myself crazy because I understand at this moment what the market conditions are. So for them to change or for me to even consider looking for a setup, I need them to come to one of my levels, which is why I have these alerts, right? So that way I don't got to stare at the charts and watch them dance all day. But once they break through a level, I get alerted and then I can hop into that chart and pay attention. So that's why I'm really just paying attention to GJ because GJ is the closest one to one of my levels where I can look for possible entry at. Whereas gold is approaching, the US30 is not, right? So I am looking at other charts, but right now I'm only really paying attention and focusing to charts that I can possibly take a setup on at the moment. You get what I'm saying? And that right now is GJ, possibly gold, right? So that's what we're really paying attention to right now. With GJ, we can look for the same setup we worked for yesterday. If GJ can break back above and hold 199.70 as support, we're going to look for buys going to 220, or we're going to see if it can retest and maintain 199.15 as support, right? And that's the thing about trading. And this is why I always tell people I can't make none of this stuff up. You go to my YouTube channel right now, go click my profile. You can do this while still listening to me. Just click the profile. It's going to put the screen into a mini screen, right? Go to lives, right? Scroll to lives. And then when you go to lives, go to oldest. You're going to see I've been doing this again. We've been doing this since 2022, but I've been live streaming for like 2 years now. If you go to the oldest live stream, not the oldest, go to like the third oldest live stream. You're going to see that I used to have literally like 20 tabs, like no bullshit. I used to have like 20 different charts and pairs I used to look at. And even when you go back into 2022, you can see that, right? I used to take a bunch of trades. I used to literally jump into anything and everything. I used to trade whatever. Like literally, you can see this was all one day, right? Now, obviously, I didn't take all these setups. These were just a bunch of plays I was calling out because when I first started, I didn't have as many people, and people used to think I was bullshitting when I used to catch these big ass moves. So that's why I started calling free plays to show people like, no, like we really do this, right? Because back in the day, it's a normal thing now. But if y'all was day trading in 2022, all this top and bottom tick shit, or even these big moves people catch now, this was not a popular or normal thing in 2022. So I used to get my pages reported all the time. I used to get called a scammer, this, that, and third. I even used to have people join my mentorship and still think I was full of shit, even though they see the plays playing out. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start going live and showing y'all that this is legit. So that's why I started going live on YouTube. And that's why I started calling shit out because I'm like, look, I'm gonna think I'm bullshitting, like because back in the day, and it's still kind of a thing now, but back in the day, people used to have it doesn't make any sense, but people, let me take this off the chart. I'm take this off the screen, my bad. But back in the day, people used to have a thing, and you kind of could still see videos of this, but it used to be a big thing back in the day where, so for example, I have a trading strategy, right? But my trading strategy works on literally anything that you can trade because it's a trading strategy. But back in the day, people used to have, and again, it doesn't make any sense, but they always swear like their strategy would only work on one chart on one pair, right? So when I came around telling people that I was catching these big moves and I could trade anything, people weren't believing that. So back in the day, I used to have to shut a lot of people's mouths up. That's why people be kind of vibing now. But every now and then we get haters coming out the woodwork. But most of the haters are still here. They just watch from the shadows. But back in the day, they used to really be vocal. But if you shut them up every day, they can't really say too much. But you can see, literally, I called anything and everything. I was calling GJ. Y'all never hear me utter Euro GP. I don't trade Euro GP no more, right? You'll never see me talk about AUD pairs. I don't trade AUD pairs no more. I used to trade GBPUSD, EUSDX. Some of y'all don't even know what those are. I don't trade those anymore, but I used to trade a bunch of different stuff. I used to look at a bunch of different charts just to show not just others, but myself, like this strategy literally works on anything and everything, right? But now you'll see how you'll look at maybe 4 to 6 charts because again, you don't got to take anything and everything, right? You just need to go for high probability, high quality setups. So right now, nowadays, I only look at 4 charts, right? I'll look at either US30 NAS100 SPX, and then I'll look at gold, and then I'll look at 2 currency pairs. As of right now, and this week, those 2 currency pairs I'm paying attention to are ZU and GJ. The only way I would switch up and start looking at other charts, other pairs, is if those market conditions are just super choppy and unattractive. And so I need to go find another pair that has a lot cleaner setups. You get what I'm saying? But for the most part, we trade the same stuff. And that's why sometimes you'll also see, um, if we go back to the present time, where I'm just showing this, y'all can see this yourself. So all you gotta do is click this. This is not the sale anymore. This is just so y'all can easily go back into the past, and Telegram doesn't have to take forever to load. But y'all can see we've been doing this since 2022. But even if you go to last week, right? One day I was trading GJ, right? Forex pairs, and then another day might trade indices, right? It literally just depends on the market structure and what setup looks the cleanest in my opinion, right? There are some weeks where I'll only trade Forex pairs. There's some weeks where I'll only trade indices. And it's not because, I just feel like trading that. It's simply just due to market conditions and market structure, right? Like you can see this week, I literally was trading gold most of the week. And that's because the Forex pairs I was looking at, I did not like how they were looking that week. So that's why I was focusing strictly on the indices on gold that week, right? But if we look at the week before that, you can see I was trading currency pairs strictly, right? And it's not because I didn't want to trade indices or anything. It was simply just because it wasn't until the end of the month that I didn't see anything I liked indices and gold wise, right? So everything is different and situational, right? Just like if we go to like you can see right here, right? Strictly on the indices this week. It's not because I didn't feel like trading Forex pairs. It was simply because I didn't like the market conditions of the Forex pairs that week. So that's why this week I traded strictly only futures and indices. But we go to this week, you'll see something different, right? You see GJ, you see GJ, GU, right? So every week's different. And then there's some weeks where I'll trade both. Like last week we was trading both. I think the week before that we was trading both. But it's literally just situational, right? Less is definitely more. But we got a new 15 that just popped up. We're about to see if GJ can hold this level right here. But that's why I just be vibing, right? Because I know once price comes to my levels and meets my confirmations, I'm going to make some bread. So that's why I have no issue waiting for price to come to me and for my confirmations to be met. Right? Like I had a good question asked me live yesterday. Again, if you're not following me on Instagram and TikTok, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all screen. Instagram playmaker underscore way, TikTok underscore playmaker way underscore. But we had a good question asked in yesterday's live on TikTok. Someone asked, I think it was a lady that asked, how do you get price to hit your levels? And I told her, I was like, I don't get them to hit my levels. These are the levels price is going to always come to. So now I'm just waiting to see if, for the setup I'm looking at or looking for, a price is going to come to me and meet my confirmation. So that's what we're doing right now, right? We're waiting to see if GJ is going to hold this level of support, right? We're looking to see if the other charts are going to wake up and do what we're looking for, right? But until they do so, we're just waiting and we're not taking a setup. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally just patience game. It's really just a patience game. Like the old me used to hop in anything and everything. Now I'm a lot pickier with my setups, which is again why our win rate's so high. Because even if you go back in time in 2022, you will still have a high 80, high 90% win rates. But if you go back to from 2022 to compared to last year, this has been a lot more cleaner, chill, right? If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When you need charge, drop them in the chat. Make sure to like the live too, subscribe and not subscribe already. We just hit 3,800 subscribers. Let's get to 3,850. We can get to that easily. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Make sure to check that out after the live is over. And I got a new video dropping for y'all later on today as well. Let's see what else we got going on up here. So I want to see if we can hold this level of support right here. No, it was a pending trade. Oh, you said place to trade. I don't know why. You could tell I just woke up. I for some reason I thought you said you took a trade. You just placed a trade. Oh, it was a pending trade. Okay. You just gotta be careful sometimes with pending trades. Sometimes I'll do a pending trade, but it literally depends. But for the most part, I don't. I just market execute. And here's an example why, right? Because imagine you put a pending trade here and you would have got fucked up, right? Or imagine you put a pending trade after the price did this and the price hit that but didn't close and hold that level, and then you got stopped out, right? So that's why I really like to market execute. Sometimes I'll do a pending trade, but it's very rare nowadays. Now, a few years ago, when I didn't have the liberty of being on the charts all day and I was still working two jobs, I did have a bias selling strategy I used a lot of the time, as well as market execute. But again, reviewing my trades, going over them every week, every weekend, every day, I know there's a lot of trades I would pin versus market execute and mainly sit there and wait for the retest confirmations. I had more success with, right? That's why I stress the retest so much, because when I reviewed my trades over the years, I realized the trades that I didn't wait for a retest for versus the trades I did, there was a difference in the success and how they played out. You get what I'm saying? But so just definitely pay attention to that. I'm not saying to take your order off or anything, but just understand that, right? Because again, with trading, a lot of people, especially beginning traders, the mistake I used to make and a lot of y'all make is y'all only think of the upside, right? So a lot of times people be like, oh, if I put this lot size or this contract size, I can make X amount of dollars. Yes, that is true, but you can also lose X amount of dollars, right? Or people were like, oh, if I take this trade and it plays out how I want, I can make X amount of dollars. But then you don't think about the other side, how much you could potentially lose, or the other side, what is the likelihood of this trade playing out? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff. I don't really like to use the word hope when it comes to trading because you shouldn't really be hoping when you enter trades. Like members and students, y'all know that all the time. You look in the group chat or if you message me personally, y'all know I don't like when y'all come in here talking about hope because that's putting your emotions into it, right? Every trade you take, you should not take it based on emotions or how you feel or if you want it to happen. Every trade I take and every trade y'all should take, you should be able to explain to me logically why it makes the best sense and the most sense to go for the setup, right? So I do this a lot of times in one-on-one sessions, right? Like if a student took their own trade or they're in a trade, I'll be like, why'd you take this setup? Sometimes they'll be like, oh, because price did this. And I'm like, okay, but why did you go for this instead of why did you go for buys instead of sell or sells instead of buys? And then that's when sometimes people have to pause and think, is because when you actually start to think it through, yes, you might saw a juicy candlestick, but the grand scheme of things, it didn't make the most sense to go for that setup, right? So every trade I take, I'm prepared for both consequences. It going in my favor and going against my favor, right? Every trade I take, I'm not just thinking about how much bread I could potentially make. I'm also thinking and considering how much we're going to lose. But that's why I Playmaker Way is called the playbook, because my playbook and my trading plan isn't to make money, but when I stick to my trading rules and the trading plan, the end result is making money, right? So this is why you have to have rules and you have to have a good system, because when you have rules and a good system, you don't got to worry about all this other stuff. You just got to worry about sticking to the rules of your system, because the trading plan and the system, if you stick to that system and that trading plan, the end result and the default is making bread, right? A lot of times people come to markets trying to make bread, but then that's how you end up winging it and just doing all types of shit in the market, versus you have a set trading plan that's built and set on making bread. That all you gotta do is focus on your trading plan and the money's gonna come, right? I talk about this all the time. You should be risking, it doesn't matter what trade you take, you should be risking the same amount every single trade, right? You should be risking the same amount every single trade. I don't care if you go from gold to GJ, GJ to GU, whatever. Every trade you take, you should be risking the same amount, right? So every trade I take, I know how much I'm risking. Every trade I take, I know how much I'm gonna make, right? Because that's part of the game plan. So that's why all y'all see on y'all screens watching me, and all I'm focused on is market structure and see if price is going to meet my confirmations or not, right? That's all I worry about. But at the same time, like I said before, every trade I take, again, I don't hope, but you know how the saying goes, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I'm mentally prepared for both consequences, the positive and negative. A lot of times as traders, we want to ignore the negative consequence or the negative potential outcome until it happens. And then when it happens, people want to get upset, right? But if you take every trade understanding that you could potentially lose that trade, you're going to be a lot more smarter with the setups you take. You're going to be a lot more patient. You're going to be looking for confirmation. You're going to make sure you're not over leveraging. You're going to make sure the trade is worth actually taking. Right, so there's a lot of things that come into play with it, right? That's why I get our win rate so high, because every trade I take, one, sticks to my rules. Every trade I take, two, is a high probability setup, high quality setup, it's an A+ setup. And three, I'm always going with the flow of price. So that's why every trade I take, I'm not only confident we're going to win, but that's why we win way more than we lose. And when we do take these setups, we end up catching the whole move for the day and not just a candlestick or something like that. So I do like this push right here. A new 5 minute did pop. So again, we're going to see if we can close and hold this level here. We can close and hold this level here. Not against this buy setup. Not against this buy setup right here. But yeah, I don't like anything else. But I do like this buy setup right here. Make sure to like the live and subscribe, y'all. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we look at any charts, drop them in the chat. Y'all already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. Let's see if we can hold this level right here. Again, y'all, we're gonna be looking for the same setup we went for yesterday. If we can hold 199.70 as support, we're gonna look for buys going to 220. Again, there is no news today, y'all. Well, there is news, but no USD high impact news. There's only 8:30 Canadian news, and then later on tonight we have 10 p.m., 11 p.m. New Zealand news. Got this night. If y'all was in yesterday's live or watched the Sunday chart analysis, could have caught this gold setup. You could also caught this GJ setup. So again, when I do these weekly recaps, when I say we broke this trade down as well as other setups that when it's projecting today's live, watch the full stream here. I'm not just saying that just to say it, right? Just like when I do the weekly recaps, when I say a lot of setups when it's projected from the Sunday chart analysis, London session lives, you're not watching and tuning in, you're missing out. I don't just say that to say that. There's the reason why every weekly recap, I don't just start on Monday. I start on the Sunday chart analysis. I'm trying to get y'all used to, if you're not already, to watch these 3-4 minute videos so y'all can see that again. You watch last week's Sunday chart analysis and you look at how the charts played out this week. Besides gold that ranged all week last week, US30 went as projected from the Sunday chart analysis. I dropped at 9:13 p.m. GU went as projected, and GJ went as projected. So 3 out of the 4 charts I talked about in here went as projected at the beginning of the week, before London session, before New York session, before all the news events. I was able to project what price was going to do, exact price points, market structure, all of that. How? Because again, I understand the rules of price, right? So again, if y'all did not watch this week's Sunday chart analysis, make sure to watch. If y'all serious about trading, y'all need to watch the Sunday chart analysis. Y'all need to tune into the live streams. Even if y'all miss the live streams, they're recorded. That's not an excuse. Watch the recording, right? Because again, the setups I talk about aren't just strictly just because we go live London session doesn't mean the setups I'm looking for are strictly only valid for London session, right? You clearly see that's not the case with GJ or gold yesterday. Or if you look at any of the other trades we took last week, any trades we took at all this month or last month, you can see that's the case. So we're going to see how this 15 closes right here. Let's see what we got going on. All right, cool. I'm caught up to the chat. If I like this, we're going to see if we can hold this as support right here. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join a free Signal, free Telegram, y'all. Y'all see on your screens like we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. We're going to break it down in a little bit. Let me ask y'all something. On y'all's end, because I just realized, this is my channel, obviously I'm running. On y'all's end in the Telegram channel, do y'all be seeing ads? Like when y'all be in my free Telegram, y'all see ads while y'all scrolling, or y'all be seeing ads? Because apparently Telegram You can monetize Telegram. I had no idea you could do that. Y'all be seeing ads in my Telegram channel? That's interesting. Now I want to go to other Telegram. I don't think I'd be seeing ads when I be in Telegram channels. That's interesting. Let me know if y'all do though, because that's interesting. I'll have to look into that because I don't know how they be doing that or how that works. That's interesting. Our new 15 just popped up. Let me not get sidetracked. I like this right here, so we're gonna hop into this right here. We're gonna hop into this. I like this right here. Telegram trying to sidetrack me. GJ, we love when a chart does exactly what we're looking for. Let's see if we can hold this low and play out though. But I do like this setup. We're gonna go ahead and take this. We're gonna go ahead and take this. Yeah, these charts are still in Chop City. We'll look back at these going into New York session, but these things aren't doing a damn thing right now. Oh, we might see Nas do something. Game plan still the same with NAS100 as well. If we could break above the whole 23,740 as support, we could look for buys going to 23,870. Yeah, we're gonna let GJ do his thing right there. Yeah, I gotta talk to Telegram because I didn't know Telegram was doing that in my channel. That's very interesting. Again, if you guys got any questions, drop in the chat. We're looking at your charts, drop in the chat. So, 1900. I'm gonna see if we can hold this lower right here. This is the only setup I like right now, so we're gonna just let this do its thing. Again, price gonna do one thing, go up or go down. It keeps on retesting, holding this level. So we're gonna see a higher high either play out, or we're gonna see price play run around the rosy again. We already retested and played run around the rosy last week. Nasty blitz. Now I just want to see price hold as low as support. But again, we just need volume. We do got GP news tomorrow as well as FMC tomorrow. As far as today, we don't got any high impact news popping off. We're going into New York. We're going to be paying attention to gold and US30. We're going to be looking for sales on gold. You see gold break right down below 32.54. If we hold 32.54 as resistance, we're going to look for continued sells going down to these lows right here at 33.24. Was looking for that this morning, but as you can see, price rejected a level midnight, rejected a level as well going into London session. So we're going to see who's going to push back down below for us, New York, if not New York session. All right, y'all. Just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Got a new video dropping for y'all later on today. We got GJ retesting. We're going to see if we hold this low as support. And then we're going to see later on today, gold is going to do another nice move for us. All right. Breakout trade valid on GJ. I don't breakout trade in general. This wasn't really a breakout. It was doing a bigger retest on a bigger time frame. But on the smaller time frame, it did a retest already. This was a little bit more of an aggressive entry, but it still wasn't necessarily a breakout trade because price closed on this level, rejected multiple times, and then we go to a smaller time frame. We can see price. All right, we can away. We can see price. Turn this off from resistance, higher high off this resistance level. And then we can see right here that it's retesting right now, holding it at support. All right, we see prices pushing up right now. So this is another thing with understanding how the charts work, because not every retest, not every retracement, and like we talked about with the TikTok a lot, not every trend, not every uptrend is going to look the same, not every downtrend is going to look the same. So the more you're on the charts, the more you'll kind of be able to see the differences and similarities between them. And also, the reason why I took this trade is because I like to take at least 1 or 2 trades a day. I like to take, if possible, again, I don't force a setup, but if possible, I like to take 1 trade in London and 1 trade in New York, right? Or if I don't take anything in London session, I might take just 1 trade in New York, 2 trades in New York, right? But I like to at least take 1 or 2 trades. And again, looking at these 3 charts, if I'm going to take a setup London session, GJ makes the most sense. It also came and broke my level, met my confirmations. So now we just got to see if it's going to be able to hold this level as support and hit RTPs, right? Yesterday, we was in a little bit of drawdown. We barely missed TP1, was a little bit of drawdown. But then when that volume picked up, went and smacked all the TPs. Just like GJ yesterday, rejected. Let me go back on the 15. Hold on, why is that? Let's go back on the 15. It's like with GJ, you know, do a nice move, rejected that level, but then later on, the move was looking for. So we're gonna let that thing do its thing. But yeah, I don't break out trade at all. I like to wait for retest. I like to wait for candle closes, which is why you're gonna notice it now. But that's why you always hear me say, let's see what the next 5 minute looks like. Let's see what the next 15 looks like. Or you're hearing me say, we got a new 5 minute about to pop up in a little bit. We got a new 15 about to pop up in a little bit. I don't just say that just to say that. I say that because that's literally what I'm looking for. That's why I always think to watch it live. I literally be showing y'all how I go about looking for setups during these live streams, right? Especially last week's lives. Y'all was in last week's lives. You could have saw these. We broke these setups down. We broke this setup down. We entered this setup live, and just like with GJ, it's funny because this was Monday also. Just like Monday yesterday with GJ, right? Price retested that level the night before. Within London session, price rejected that level. Then later on that day, went and did the bullish move, right? That's literally what took place yesterday live. London session open, price again, Tokyo session night before, held at a support, London session price rejected, and later on that day, did the move we was looking for. All right, so right now we're just having a retest on a bigger time frame, but you can also see that again moves up the way. You can see our price is still holding as low as support. So from this point, we're just letting the markets do their thing and seeing if the volume, the flow of price is going to smack those TPs for us. Because again, that's what we do. We use the momentum of price to do all the work for us, right? We're not trying to outsmart price. We're not competing against price. We're figuring out what price is currently doing and what price is going to be doing for the day, if not the week. And then we find the best places to enter and exit at to take advantage of that and to ride wave, which is again why I don't comment on trade. I always go with the floor price. Why I teach the members and students not to chase price, right? Because again, all the manipulation people talk about, all the stuff people talk about when it comes to trading, I use all of that, and the members and students use all that to our advantage, right? That's why again we win way more than we lose. And then when we do take trades, we're catching the news for the day, right? If y'all see last week, I showed this as well. Right, the setups we took last week. Let me show y'all really quick. Let me just be careful not to show the signal. Give me 1 second. Again, these are all signals. I'm just showing y'all this so it correlates with what we're talking about right now. But these are all signals. Nobody takes these setups. These are signals from last week, right? So again, you see where we're at last week. August 11th was Monday. So when I said we didn't lose any trades last week, you're going to see we didn't lose any trades last week. We're literally on the things specific. It's Monday, August 11th. We took this during London session, right? So GJ, see all things got hit. You see the screenshot. You see the screenshot meaning the trade. All that good stuff, right? You see when we're live during the news. Then you see the Tuesday GU setup. Again, we talked about this in the Tuesday live. Watch Tuesday's live last week, August 12th. You see the GU setup we talked about. Then you see the other charts we talked about going as projected as well. You can see, I'll let them know other charts are doing what they're doing. You can see other charts going as projected. Boom, boom, boom. Final TV got hit. Then you see Wednesday. Again, if y'all was on Wednesday's live last week, we literally entered this US30 setup in the live last week. You can see the final TPs got hit. Right. And then you see the screenshot of the position right here. This is what I was showing you, right? So that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We took a GJ buy on Monday, GU buy on Tuesday, US30 buy on Wednesday. Because we're going with the flow price, we was literally able to catch the higher high on GJ. We was able to catch the higher high on GU. And again, watch the Sunday chart analysis last week. You'll see this before it played out. And was able to catch the higher high on US30, right? So this is the method to the madness. This is the method to the madness. It requires a little bit more patience, but again, you're not making or losing any money until you enter buy or sell, right? So looks like gold's about to try to do something as well. Let's see what else we got going on. It's continuing. You think you'll see one eye? That's interesting. That's interesting because they've been putting at now. They gave me a split, but I didn't know they were putting ads on there. I have no control over the ads. I just saw that on. I just ran into it. That's all. Like, what the heck? Because I had that balance, and yeah, but it's a whole other conversation. But that's interesting. That's interesting. I might have to make another account, hop up in here and see. Because I went to other Telegram channels. At a certain level, it says at level 50 you can turn ads off, and I'm not even close to level 50 because I don't even know what the fuck you got to do to even level up. To be honest, I just use Telegram for y'all. I didn't even know you could do all this other stuff with Telegram. To be honest, but that's besides the point. I was just curious to see if y'all saw it because obviously I'm assuming that I haven't been seeing it because I'm the owner of the channel. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, again, if gold can break back below and hold 33, 34 as resistance, we're going to look for continued sells going to the downside, going to 33.24. So I do like that drop right there. And GJ, we're looking to see if we can hold this little bit of support. Because again, at this point, it keeps on playing at this level for the past couple of weeks. We're bullish. Again, we don't have any news today, so I might wait to do the move. But nonetheless, if I'm going for a setup on GJ, it's going to be a buy setup. You get what I'm saying? So we're going to let this thing do its thing. I like this setup right here. And we're going to see if we can catch a gold setup going into New York session. NAS and US30, they might try to do something today, especially because they didn't do anything yesterday. But again, we do got some news events this week, some important news events. We got F1C tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then we got Thursday 8:30 news. We got a bunch of Euro and GBP news going on in London session. So and then Friday we got USD news as well. It's be interesting to see what this week does. We just gotta take it day by day, candlestick by candlestick. So let's see if we can hit this first TP. We barely missed TP1 off that wick. See if we can maintain and hold that level. Yeah, Brandon, if you want to do it, because I'm just curious. It's just me being curious. But yeah, next time if an ad pops up, you remember, send me a screenshot. So I'm curious. I don't see it in the other Telegram channels, but the other Telegram channels, they do have like that. I mean, they have like 10, 50,000 people in there, so they probably are way past level 50 and all that good shit. Again, y'all just dropped a new video for y'all yesterday. Make sure to check that out. Right? I'm getting a lot of questions. Shout out to those that's here for the first time or found me in the TikTok live yesterday or last week. I was getting a lot of questions on the TikTok live yesterday about how to take setup based on the rules of price. So again, check out the trade breakdown playlist. There's over 100 videos of back-to-back various buy and sell setups. But also make sure to check out the day trading tips playlist. That playlist got over 100 videos. I go over how to read the charts, trade psychology, trading plans, day trading tips, all types of stuff. Just explore the videos, read the titles. Again, so you're going to find some videos that are going to help you out as well as pique your interest. And then we also have the Bitcoin analysis playlist. The Bitcoin analysis playlist doesn't just go over Bitcoin, it goes over Ethereum and Solana as well. And you also make sure to check out the crypto altcoin analysis playlist that goes over the altcoins. And then there's also the stock analysis playlist where I go over stocks. All right. So make sure to explore those playlists. But yeah, I want to make sure I'm not missing any chats. Yes, we're just gonna let price do this thing at this point, y'all. Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody who's been live since the beginning. Shout out to everybody who's been live since y'all joined. Again, make sure you hit that first link in the description of the free for Telegram, y'all. Again, if y'all was in yesterday's live, you could have got this goal setup. We broke down this setup as well as entered it. The interest learning how to identify these levels, my student service, and my mentorship program. You already know what to do. Make sure to take advantage of the sale. Use discount code It's My Time for 20% off. Shout out to those that took advantage of the sale. Ends this week, y'all. All right, the sale ends this week. I don't really like to give it a deadline when I first do it because I just be curious to see who's going to take advantage of the sale. But it ends this week, y'all. All right, 20% off everything that's the Advanced Play Signal monthly, yearly, lifetime. It's also one-on-one session as well as Playmaker University. But Saturday, well, I'll do Sunday. I don't know, but it ends this week. All right, y'all. If you want to contact me directly, y'all can DM me on Instagram and Telegram. Respond to all messages. And again, we should be live later on today on TikTok. I gotta just check my schedule. I got a couple one-on-one sessions, but for the most part, the TikTok lives are gonna be around the same time. That's usually when I'm done with the sessions and stuff like that. So it'll be around 12:30, 1 o'clock this afternoon. So make sure you're gonna look out for that. But like all, follow me on there. But I'll always notify y'all. Just like I did yesterday, just like I did all last week. We do end up going live on both YouTube and TikTok. All right, we'll be back at the same time on here tomorrow. London session 3 m EST. Peace. We out.